Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you at the end of what has been the first week, or certainly working week, of the international break. All getting a little bit dull, isn't it? All want football, proper football to return. But there has been some Arsenal players involved in international duty, and I'll get onto them in this video. Some good news for the likes of Thomas Partey, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Mohamed El Neni. So we'll talk about them a little bit later on in this video. And what some of that good news for those players means for Arsenal further down the line, because it could it will bring some issues for Mikel Arteta and the Arsenal squad when the African Cup of Nations rolls around at the beginning of next year. But like I said, we'll get to that at the end of this video. I wanted to start off, talk a little bit about some transfer gossip doing the rounds. Always something that I know appeals to you guys, and who Arsenal could be signing. I'm not going to say Arsenal are signing this man, but they have been linked with Guido Rodriguez. I'm sure you've seen it. The Argentinian midfielder currently plays for Betis, has had a very, very good start to life in Betis, and is now being linked with a move to Arsenal over by Mundo Deportivo over in Spain. Just wanted to talk because he's been asked about the rumours, Rodriguez, and this is what he has had to say. He said, "I saw it because friends from Argentina asked me, but I told them that I know the same as them. I'm a protagonist because I am in the news, but today I do not know more or less than what you saw. I'm very happy at Betis. I arrived and there was 1 or 2 months with a strange situation for everyone with the issue of the confinement because of the pandemic, but I am very happy in Seville with the city, the weather and the club. I am very happy. I would have liked to experience with all the fans in the stadium, and I could only play a few games with those fans in the ground." So he's saying he's happy that he doesn't know anything about the Arsenal rumours, but it's an interesting one nonetheless. Those reports in Spain suggesting that Mikel Arteta and Edu are very keen on Rodriguez, who's had a good season, as I said, since arriving in Spain. He came from Club America in Mexico in January 2020, only about £2.7 million, I think. Was the fee. So very, very small nominal fee, but it's done very, very well. So much so that the figure being bandied around now about with Arsenal's interest is 68 million. But I think you take that with a pinch of salt. Now, I haven't heard anything myself if Arsenal are interested in Rodriguez. But what I do know is they won't be paying 68 million pounds for him. That is what his release clause is at Betis. And I think Arsenal will be looking at that central midfield area as a possible long-term partner for Thomas Partey. I know Granit Xhaka is very popular and Mikel Arteta likes Xhaka a lot, but whether he is the long-term answer alongside Partey, I am not so sure. And it wouldn't surprise me if Arsenal look at that midfield area as somewhere where they need to strengthen if they want to get up to that next level that Mikel always talks about, but they're not going to go out and shell out £68 million on Guido Rodriguez, that is for sure. And they might try and, if they are genuinely interested in him, they would talk to Betis, try and get that price down to a much more manageable fee. The reports in Spain suggest that Betis could be open to selling because of the financial issues they are going through, and every club in Europe is going through because of the coronavirus pandemic. And so potentially they could be up for doing some sort of a deal. But yeah, it's not going to be £68 million. I think that one you can scratch straight off the list. If that is genuinely what they want, and they want a club to hit the asking price, then Arsenal will be looking at another midfielder and not looking at spending that sort of money on Rodriguez. He's 26, and you shell that sort of money out, and obviously there's very little sell-on value in that. They've already kind of done that with Thomas Partey. They're not going to go and do that again. I think if they do look to bring in a partner for Partey, you're looking at half that sort of price and potentially a younger player. So I'm not sure if there's much in these rumours so far. It's certainly one to keep an eye on. But I mean, you've seen other players linked, like Basuma at Brighton. Obviously, he's someone who's been heavily linked. Kind of fits more in the Arsenal profile of players that I kind of see that they're looking at in terms of age group and room for development. If you're bringing Rodriguez at 26, like I said, there's very little sell-on value there. You're hoping that he absolutely hits the ground running. I'm not sure. I think it's one I'd be unsure on, but certainly one to keep an eye on, and interesting comments nonetheless from Rodriguez. And I thought what it does say, or what I wanted to talk about mainly in this video now, as I've been kind of looking ahead to the summer in each of these videos this week, is Arsenal's transfer priorities. And as always, I'm really intrigued to hear what you guys think about what Arsenal should be doing in the summer and what areas Arsenal should be prioritising in the summer. Now, as I said there, Rodriguez, central midfielder, possibly I think Arsenal would be looking to strengthen that central midfield department. But, and I kind of mentioned these in the other videos this week about how Arteta has said it's going to be an unprecedented summer in terms of Arsenal's transfer business. You kind of look at the areas where they need to prioritise, and it's right across the pitch at the moment, because you've got, and saying that, I think central midfield is probably the least pressing of those areas, just because, and I know a lot of you don't like Granit Xhaka, but he has been playing pretty well, very well, in fact, I think, for a while now, Granit Xhaka, although the odd mistake is still in there. But you look across in other areas of pitch, I think there's more areas that Arsenal have to prioritise, which is why I certainly don't expect them to go and shell out £68 million on a central midfielder. You look at the striker department, and as I've spoken about this week, I think that is a very, very important area that Arsenal prioritise, because you've got Alexander Lacazette 1 year left on his contract, Eddie Nketiah 1 year left on his contract, Aubameyang in his 30s now, following Balogun, we're not sure what's going to be happening with him. He could be leaving for free in the summer. Looks more likely that he will leave for free in the summer. So you've basically got Martinelli as your only long-term striking option at the moment. So Arsenal have got to sort that out in the summer. That has to be a big priority for Arteta and Edu. The centre-backs, I know Arsenal have had a lot of centre-backs, but they've got rid of a fair few. And the ones they've got at the moment, when you look at Luiz, Mari and Gabriel, they all like to play on the left side of the two. You've got Rob Holding as the only one at the moment who's at Arsenal, although Callum Chambers comes into that as well, I suppose. You can play on the right, and then you've got William Saliba. Will he come back? Will he not? That's something that will be decided in the summer. But if he doesn't, if they decide that Saliba isn't the one for them, and I'm not saying they will, but if they do, then you certainly look at prioritising a new centre-back in that right-sided area as well. And then we've got about the fullbacks as well. Hector Bellerin, is he going to leave this summer? It looks like he might. What are Arsenal going to do in terms of a right back? Are they going to bring in a right back? Are they going to try and promote Cedric Suarez and think he can do the job full time? I'm not so sure. I think if Arsenal decide to let Bellerin go, then they will prioritise signing a right back. You've got to sign cover for Kieran Tierney on the left, because although Kolasinac does come back this summer, at the end of his loan spell from Schalke, and still has 1 year left on his contract, I'm pretty sure Arsenal will try and do all they can to move Kolasinac on again in the transfer window and potentially receive a little bit of money for him. If that is the case, then you're only left with Tierney as your only natural left-sided left back, and that's not ideal situation. You need some genuine cover in that squad. So both full-back areas could be something that Arsenal have to prioritise. The goalkeeper, again, is an area where Arsenal have to make a really big decision. It has to be a priority. But Leno not being the best this season, I still think Leno is a very, very good goalkeeper, but he hasn't really got much competition. Matt Ryan is currently on loan, so he could be going back to Brighton in the summer. Alex Runarsson, we've all seen, is not really up to Arsenal's standard. So what are Arsenal going to do in the summer? They wanted to sign David Raya last season from Brentford, couldn't get that deal done. Wouldn't surprise me at all if they revisit that this summer and try and buy him. But again, another big priority area. So right through, you got, and this is before we even think about the centre midfield, like I've been talking with Rodriguez, you've got goalkeeper, both fullbacks, centre-back, striker. There is an awful lot of areas that Arsenal have to prioritise this summer. It's right through the spine of the team. So you can only prioritise a couple. I mean, I'm not expecting Arsenal really to go out and buy 6 or 7 players, despite what Mikel said when he said it's unprecedented. You've not got much money. And it's just really difficult to sign that amount of players in one summer. So what do you think? Where should Arsenal prioritise? Should it be in central midfield? Is that where Arsenal really need to find a long-term partner for Partey? Is it up front? Let me know, as always, in your comments below, and let me know any suggestions of names who you think Arsenal should be going for. I mean, I haven't even talked about the attacking midfield position. Obviously, Martin Odegaard is there at the moment. Is he going to stay long-term? Can Arsenal get a deal done with Real Madrid to bring him back next season, even if it's on loan? And if they can't, Emil Smith-Rowe, is he the only... Are you going to bring some cover in for Emil Smith-Rowe to play as a number 10 if Odegaard is not around? There's so much work. All these videos this week, and I've been focusing on the summer and the job Arteta's got, the job Edu's got, transfer priorities now, talked about contracts as well. Just so much work for Arsenal and Edu and Richard Garlick when he arrives as head of football operations. Mikel Arteta is just a huge summer. No wonder Mikel Arteta is calling it unprecedented. So let me know what you think about what I've just said there. And as I said, let me know what you think Arsenal should be doing in terms of their priorities this summer in the transfer window. What area should they be focusing on when it comes to strengthening the squad? What desperately needs to be improved for Arsenal to have a better season? Okay, let's focus on some international news now. Obviously, been plenty of games doing the rounds. Let's start on Martin Odegaard. We have more comments from Stålsø, and the Norway manager, about his injury. We all saw him limp off. Well, he did limp, but he got through to half time against Gibraltar in midweek, but was replaced at half time. Didn't come out with that ankle injury. Stålsø talking yesterday said, "I've not actually talked a lot to Martin about it. He's had his recovery with his uncle, who is Thomas Odegaard, the Norway physiotherapist. So I don't have the latest news yet. No decision will be made on that before match day. So we have to wait and see how it develops. We hope he'll be available to play Turkey, but it's a short space of time in between." So he got the injury on Wednesday. Norway play Turkey on Saturday, and then they have, it's Montenegro on Tuesday. So 2 more games coming up for Norway. Obviously, Odegaard is captain, a very hugely important and influential player for them. They want to get him fit and playing in at least one of those games. Arsenal, no doubt, will be desperate to see him rested and not taking any risks. He was training yesterday, but only by himself in the gym. It wasn't anything out on the pitch doing ball work or anything like that. It was basically fitness training and strengthening and things with the physio, like Stålsø said there, in the gym. So he's not doing anything with a group or with a squad or with a ball. So I think Saturday, you've got to look at that being too early for him. I'll be surprised if he features on Saturday now with this injury. Norway won't want to risk him either. And Arsenal certainly will be desperate that they don't risk him, because we all know how important Martin Odegaard has been for Arsenal in the last few games as he gets up to fitness. So all eyes will be on that starting lineup when Norway announce it on Saturday. I would say if he's going to play any more time in this international break, you would expect it to be the Montenegro game on Tuesday, just because if he's not playing with a group yet, it's looking doubtful that he'll be involved at the weekend, and Arsenal will be certainly hopeful of that, and that Norway wrap him up in cotton wool between now and then. In terms of other players on international duty, it's been a very good few days for some of Arsenal's African players. We've got Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Thomas Partey and Mohamed El-Neni all have qualified now for the African Cup of Nations. Gabon beat Congo 3-0 yesterday. Aubameyang really, really good in that game. If you haven't seen it yet, go and check out the highlights. Absolute pace to burn for Aubameyang. And all the Arsenal fans saying, why haven't we seen this sort of Aubameyang playing for us for a while? It's just a couple of brilliant moments where he just knocked it past the defender. Huge amounts of space to run into, which he hasn't had at Arsenal, to be fair, because defence has obviously been playing a very low block against Arsenal for a long time now, so they don't leave that amount of space. But it certainly showed yesterday that the whole suggestion that he's lost his pace or anything like that is utter rubbish. You could see in the video clips and the highlights from his game yesterday that he's not lost anything. So an assist and a goal for Aubameyang yesterday. Man of the match performance. Gabon beating Congo 3-0 to qualify for the African Cup of Nations. Ghana, they drew with South Africa without Thomas Partey. Obviously wasn't allowed to play in that game. Interesting to see if he plays in the game that is available for, which is coming up next. But given Ghana have already qualified, maybe they will just decide to give Thomas Partey a little bit of rest. Again, Arsenal will be hoping for that. And Mohamed El-Neni's Egypt was qualified as well. So really good news. Great to see Aubameyang playing so well. And hopefully that will give him a big, big boost when he comes back to Arsenal. The confidence booster that he needed to get back firing again when he arrives back in England. But certainly it presents some issues for Arsenal going forward, as the African Cup of Nations always done. Suddenly now you're looking at next season, and the dates have been announced for next season, begin on, I think it was August the 14th. The new season, the 2021-22 season begins. It ends on May the 22nd, but Arsenal could well now be without Thomas Partey, Aubameyang, El-Neni and Nicolas Pepe for up to 4 to 6 weeks in the middle of next season. Obviously, it's not just Arsenal, it's all the teams that have got African players involved. Now, the African Cup of Nations was due to be played this summer. That was pushed back because of it's been pushed back twice now. The first time it was pushed back to this January for this January. It's just gone for I think it was climate reasons, for how hot it was going to be in the summer, and then obviously COVID struck, so it's been pushed back again. So the African Cup of Nations 2021 will in fact be played in January 2022. But what that is going to do is mean that the players that have qualified, and I've mentioned them all, those 4 big players for Arsenal, although Pepe, Ivory Coast haven't qualified yet, but they're on course to. It looks like they definitely will. Suddenly looking at being without those players. Now, will El Neni be at Arsenal by then? We don't know. He could be one of the players who gets sold this summer to raise money as Arsenal look to reshape the squad. But you would certainly think that Partey, Aubameyang and Pepe are still going to be Arsenal players, and 3 very important Arsenal players by the time the African Cup of Nations rolls around. And Arsenal and Mikel Arteta now facing up to being without them for 4 to 6 weeks. So that is going to be a problem. We've seen it before. Arsene Wenger always spoke about it. How much it affected the European calendar, the African Cup of Nations. That's why initially it has been changed to bring into line with all other summer tournaments, which all European clubs welcomed. Obviously now with COVID and everything else, it's kind of those plans have changed for now, and we're going to have another disrupted season because of it. I'm not going to sit here and have a go at it. It's like, this is a huge tournament for all African football. It's just the way it is. Yes, it's frustrating for European clubs, but if you're going to sign African players, you know that the African Cup of Nations has always been an issue. So you can't really criticise it. And like I said, it's a huge tournament for these players. You could see by the celebrations yesterday in the Gabon match of Aubameyang what it meant for them to qualify. It's just something Arsenal are going to have to deal with when it rolls around. And but it's certainly it's going to represent some issues for Arteta and other managers in England. But like I said, it is just an issue. It's not something new. It's always happened, and Arsenal just have to deal with it and make sure they've got the squad capable of dealing with being without 3 or 4 very important players for the middle part of next season. Right, everyone, thank you very much for watching. As always, please do head over to my social media channels to stay updated with all your Arsenal news throughout the day, and goal.com as well. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, and I'll speak to you very, very soon.